Paris is burning for the third night running. Pitched battles are being fought in the suburbs of Paris. But even as riots continue across France, the French President Emmanuel Macron has been missing in action. He was spotted instead grooving to a selection of Elton John hits. He may have been swaying to the candle in the wind, but these pictures of Macron at the Accor Arena are adding fuel to fire and anger among protesters as well. And his political opponents have been quick to pounce at these pictures to draw an immediate parallel with the decadent Roman Emperor Nero, who reportedly played the fiddle when Rome was burning in the 64th AD. Macron is now trying to reformulate a plan, meanwhile, to contain the chaos, and as he will be holding a new crisis meeting today. For this, he will have to cut short a trip to Brussels, where he is attending a European Union summit. On Thursday, Macron had convened a similar meeting, after which he had appealed to the public to maintain calm. But the appeal proved ineffective as well. Riots were witnessed in major French cities. The number of police personnel deployed has now been increased to 40,000. This is 4 times the number deployed on Wednesday. French authorities expect the situation to worsen in the coming days, and as per reports, 249 police officers have been injured in the violence that took place overnight. And for more on this, we're now being joined by Ross Cullen from Paris. And Ross, tell us what's happening in France at the moment, even as we saw those visuals of the French president. Clearly bad optics for him at this moment.
Yeah, that meeting has now broken up. Emmanuel Macron came back late this morning to chair that crisis meeting. In the last few minutes, we have had the ending of that meeting and the announcement from French President Emmanuel Macron that further resources will be deployed this evening to try to stop the rioting and the looting, or at least bring a sense of calm to certain areas. We have seen 3 consecutive nights of rioting, looting, arson attacks on banks and shops and schools. And we have seen 874 people arrested just on Thursday night in the early hours of Friday morning. Emmanuel Macron also called on all parents to take responsibility. A third of the 870 people who were arrested last night were young people, some of them very young. Reports of children as young as 11 taking part in the looting. So Emmanuel Macron calling on mothers and fathers to take responsibility for the whereabouts of their children at night. He has also called on social media websites to play their part, taking down any content that exacerbates the rioting. He said that they want to bring a sense of Republican order back to the streets of France. And in fact, there has been some guidance issued by the British Embassy, just urging British travellers to be very careful about their whereabouts and just be cautious when travelling to France, because of the risk, especially as we've seen for 3 consecutive nights. 11 p.m, midnight, 1 a.m. is when the fireworks begin, both literally and also figuratively, when the riots start, when the looting is taking place, with fires and buses being burnt and trams being burnt and cars on fire. And schools and city halls being torched. That is when we have seen that kind of usually after sunset. And 40,000 police officers last night didn't make a dent, because last night was the biggest protest of the week. So there's going to have to be further measures, as Emmanuel Macron has promised in the last few minutes.
Right, clearly a lot happening there in France, and particularly in Paris. And as Ross Cullen importantly pointed out, now the French president appealing to parents, some of the protesters as young as 11. Ross Cullen, thanks very much. Appreciate you joining us this evening.